thinking.
Hi, welcome to Not iCarly. Sorry, Nick. Welcome to our reality. I am Roxy Hotman at Roxy_Hotman. Like I did it today.
She did it.
Here with me, as always, is at the Nick City. And we also have Casey and Zach with us tonight. Their apps also on the screen because they're so smart and think to do those things ahead of time. I never do. But anyway, welcome. It's been like so long, I feel like, since I've seen you guys. But it's only been, I guess, a week and a half? It's been a long time for me. I feel like I've lived like 3 lifetimes since the last time I was live. But anyway, here we are. We're almost, guys, it's less than a week until this season ends. Less than a week. And I feel like when I left, there were so many people in the house still. And I come back and it's like, well, we're getting ready to go down to the final 3. And I'm like, what? What happened while I was gone? So much.
Triple.
Yeah, you left before the triple, so there was really a lot of people still in the house before.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, and I tried to keep up while I was gone. I mean, listen, I was riding banshees and whatnot down in Orlando. For anyone interested. And I know you are. And so like I would come home, and by home I mean to my hotel in the evenings, and by evening I mean 11:30 at night, and try to catch up and like look things up and try to watch stuff and inevitably fall asleep because I'm exhausted. But I tried so hard to keep up, and I even showed up on the live stream for a little bit and chit-chatted and then fell asleep to your lovely melodic voices talking. So I feel like a lot of information just kind of seeped into my brain as you guys were talking about it on the live stream. But so since I've come home from the cheer competitions, it was All-Star Cheer World Championship competition in Orlando. And let me tell you, there was a lot of people there vying for a world title. We did not get one. When I say we, I mean not me. I am not on a team. But our gym did win some world titles and whatnot because our gym is good. But and my kids' team is very good. It wasn't their competition this year. They won last year, not this year. But anyway, I feel like I've been in another world. And so I'm back and I'm ready. And I want to talk about all of the things, everything, because when you guys were here last, the triple had occurred and Betty was the new HOH. And well, we want to talk about all of that. Or is there anything else triple related that anybody wants to talk about first? Because I'm down to do whatever.
Well, we saw like the episode on Monday where we saw like a little bit more of the triple. Oh, yeah. Girl, the fight.
Oh, Helena's shut the hell up, Jacey-Lynne. Oh my god, like
so iconic.
Loved it.
So good. We needed fights like that. I feel like we haven't had like fights like that in like forever. And just having it, I thought it was so funny how you had like Summer and Josh going at it in that one room, and then you had Helena and JC going at it over there, and like Kevin was just like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Kevin's There's doing fights the paper. Going on. I don't understand it.
Betty's over here.
Fine.
Like,
he's
Betty's like running around and stuff, trying to find everyone.
Oh, yeah. Betty was like running around. Josh telling Betty that she was going on the block and her being like, you're putting me up?
He's like, do you trust me?
Yeah.
So good.
And she's like, well, not now. Let me get my hair dryer. No, I don't.
She's like, where's Kevin?
I did.
She was running around the house.
I will say, Betty literally, like, Betty was just like, okay, like, fuck this dude. I don't need to talk to him now. Like, she went and gathered her votes. I will say, like, she was under a lot of pressure. She talked to Helena and Kevin. She pulled JC aside and was like, "This is what they're doing," and Jacey-Lynne wouldn't give her an answer. And it was just a really crazy triple, and probably the best one as far as fucking drama and like what the
I
fuck
agree.
you know, like no one
I-
expected that.
I think that Monday night's episode was one of like my favorite episodes in Big Brother like ever, because you just like there was just so much to it. Like we even got an appearance from Ica. Like how can you even like top it? Like it was just so good.
Well, yeah, anytime you have an appearance from Ica, it already goes up. Like that's like bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, Ica's on? Well, it just became infinitely better, regardless of what the episode was about. It's like, it could be like, in tonight's episode about cross stitching with Ica. And so you're like, cross stitching with Ica? Woo!
Is Caitlin Herman gonna be there? Because I'll show up for that.
Oh, bitch, me too.
I mean, anything with Ica is just automatically boosted for me personally, and I think for a
Mhm.
lot of people. Everybody loves Ica.
How could you
But
not?
well,
Heather or Jackie.
I mean, there are
like they
people who
specifically casted
don't.
Jackie as her fucking punching bag. That
They
season.
really did.
They're like, oh yeah, she'll like this one. Like
She ate Jackie alive every damn day.
Jackie had the same like I was bullied growing up kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was like, damn, y'all really look for the same thing as Heather. Sorry.
Also, I'd like to point out that during the triple, I feel like I always have to go to the bathroom at the worst times. And Helena was over, Betty was over here like going up to Kevin, where's Helena? And then she's like, I'm in the bathroom. And then I'm like, that would definitely be me. Like someone's trying to talk strategy with me, and I'm
Betty's
just
like,
sitting
I
there
don't
like,
give a fuck. I'll go in there and talk to you. Like she was,
Yeah.
like, she is ready to open that door up and be like, hey, are you voting for me? I need to know.
It was.
If you're not voting for me, then just don't talk to me.
she's like, girl, I'm in
Casey's
midstream.
like, where is yeah, whoever? And they're like in the bathroom, and this is Casey. Hey,
Oh, I would be like,
I'm coming
hey,
in. I'm coming in.
how long?
She's like
you
knock
know?
knock as she opens the door, and she comes in, closes it behind her, and then somebody's just sitting right there on the toilet or standing, whatever. And Casey's like pulling the door closed. So I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Just be like, big brother, I got consent, just so you know, and I would walk in.
Sometimes we need answers, and
I mean,
it's
time is literally
Yes.
money in a triple. Like
Mhm.
time
Well,
can do
yeah.
a lot.
time constraints, right? Like we don't have time for you to urinate. Okay, I need to know what your vote is. Hold it.
And we also
No
see
urination.
Jacey-Lynne talking to Josh as well. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't put Betty up. Why would you put Betty up? And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's what Jacey-Lynne was trying to keep both of them safe.
I loved the moment
Betty
with
and Summer.
JC and Betty in the storage room after Betty found out she was going up, and Jacey-Lynne was like, what the fuck is he doing? And Betty's like, I don't know.
But in
Like,
that moment, Betty did not feel like JC was going to vote to keep her. Jacey-Lynne never said, yeah, you have my vote, which is what she should have done immediately.
yeah.
You know?
Well, there's
like,
a lot of things that JC should have done immediately that she still hasn't done. I mean, she's out of the house now, and there's still things that she oh, sorry, spoiler, that she hasn't done. Like, come on.
Poor man's Holly.
Like, what is that girl doing?
not the poor man. She actually beasted more comps than he did. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that I would actually like her going into another season if she came back. She wasn't terrible.
I will say I liked her a lot in her last week when she was without Gino, because I felt like she
That
kind
was-
of had her head like,
Mhm.
okay, like I see like
She was
what's
in the
going on
game.
now.
She was-
Yeah.
Well, it's like a Rachel. I mean, I'm not comparing her to Rachel Riley because Rachel is Rachel, right? But it's the same thing. It's like everybody liked Brendan more after Rachel left.
Mhm.
Everyone liked Rachel more after Brendan left in 13. And
Yeah.
Rachel played better without Brendan. Jacey did better without Gino. Of course, she had that whole I feel like a fifth wheel thing. Well, I'm just a fifth wheel. I'm a fifth wheel and I'm just a fifth wheel. Okay, so you were feeling left out. Gotcha. Just a fifth wheel. Okay. That's a camper, Jacey. That's a type of camper. It is. It's a vehicle. I'm just a fifth wheel.
She felt like a camper.
She felt like a camper.
Camp
I mean, well, and the reason that she felt that way is because you spent all season investing in one person and one person only. And when that person goes home, then you are going to feel that way regardless of who is left in the house with you because you invested nothing in anyone else. And that's what we saw with her. So too bad, so sad, Jacey-Lynne. That's what I have to say about that. But whatever.
Yeah, I think Jacey-Lynne really could have actually taken the game into her hands at that point, and she flopped. And she did have a good argument to Betty, but she needed to really be like, Betty, what questions do you have about any of the previous game? Because I'm going to tell you straight up what Kevin's been telling me. Like, I think that Jacey-Lynne could have fought harder to be there afterwards and to not be nominated. I was really hoping going into this that Jacey-Lynne and Betty would recognize that they both just lost to their number ones and they would go together and get to the end, because I think that either one of them could win, but hopefully Betty.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I'd rather it be Betty.
Yep.
So let's talk then about after the triple and Betty is our HOH. Let's talk about our Betty week. Our week, oh Betty.
Yes, Miss Petty
Business
Betty.
Week.
Yes. I love that she won the letter shredding comp too, just because I thought it was kind of
so
like,
iconic.
Yeah, like that was like a really iconic comp, and I hope that they do that again. But I think my favorite part about it was how like they didn't know how everyone else in the comp was doing. So like
Yes.
I thought that was so cool because normally it's like, oh, like we know this person's gonna win, or like we know like, oh, like if I don't get this question right, like then Josh will win or something, right? So like this one, I love that they were all like just completely in the dark and they were all just like kind of going with it and they did not know anyone's score.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was very much here for this comp.
Also, I would like to point out, I would have thought that this was like Kevin's comp to win.
Whose?
Kevin.
You thought it was whose? Oh yeah, I saw some other people saying that too, and I agree. I think you're absolutely right. But Kevin choked. I mean, not really. He just didn't win. It wasn't really a choke.
But a lot of people like strategically don't go for that final 5 HOH just because they know how crucial in final 4. Like you only have 2 options to save yourself, which is HOH or veto, and like your game is in somebody else's hands if you don't win that veto. Yeah. But HOH is like another opportunity for you to get safety. So I see why people might throw it, but with Kevin, like he's in a terrible spot with Jacey-Lynne at this point. And then Betty, yeah, I mean, I really don't think he had to win that. Betty or Helena winning over Jacey-Lynne, and he'd be good.
Yeah. What about, okay, so then who did Betty nominate? What all happened? Like, I know who she nominated, but I don't know because I was absent. I didn't watch like the feed, so I don't know any of the intricacies that led up to nominations as far as conversations or anything like that. So give me the rundown on that, and I don't care who does it.
So from my understanding, like right after the triple, like Josh and Betty just straight up did not talk. Like after she won the competition, she immediately knew that Josh was going on the blog. And Jacey-Lynne, like she had set her noms as soon as she won that comp, and she really didn't waver. She didn't really talk to Josh. Josh didn't really talk to her until she basically just told him, like, I'm nominating you. And that was basically it. Then they both got nominated.
Yeah, she was very much like her mind was literally made up, I think, right when she won the HOH, and she didn't really like waver on it at all. And I feel like a lot of it too is because it's Final Five, and like, you know, there's only X amount of people that you can choose
you don't
from.
have a lot of choices, and you kind of have your relationships, and plus nobody's gonna tell Betty what to do.
Mm-hmm.
This
and
is
Josh did just do that to her, so you know. But yeah, go ahead, Zach.
This is kind of what's making me like not mad at the season, but it's more so like if Josh ends up winning, which he's on track, like judging by everything that I'm seeing in the feeds and stuff, is that he's more than likely, if he wins out, then he'll win if he makes it to the end. But it's stuff like this where I feel like separates good players from, okay, they won, but they won under circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Josh is one of those types of winners where it's like, if he was a good player, he would have talked to Betty. Like, it's Final Five. Like, yeah, there's no changing your mind and stuff like that, but it's also like, it's Final Five. Like, it's balls to the wall type thing. Like, why isn't he talking with her? Why isn't he doing this stuff? Because he could have easily gone home, given if Kevin and Helena would have made the better decision, they would have sent him home. But
yeah,
I completely agree.
I like the way that you put that. Yeah, I like that because we see that so often, and we're talking about it pre-podcast, that a lot of times your best player in the game is not who wins the game. That's rare that it truly is the one who has played from the get-go. And I love when that happens, but that's often not the case. I mean, a lot of times whoever wins, it's like, they played okay. They played maybe the second half of the game, or maybe their strategy was this or that, or whatever. But like a player like Josh, I feel like he had the potential that he could have played differently.
I want to compare him almost to like the Pax Bros, in a sense where like they were just terrible at the game, but somehow got to the end and got the votes. And I mean, Josh, from the beginning, even with like the house guests, they're like, Josh is gonna win this game. Josh is gonna win it. I've never seen Josh as being the winner of Big Brother Canada, so I really hope that doesn't happen, because I don't think that he's played the best game at all. I think that he's just been very passive.
Not even close. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like none of his, like, nothing that happened was intentional. That's what sucks. Like, it's
he didn't get there. Right, he didn't get there on his own accord, and I don't like when I see that happen. And I've seen winners before where I'm like, it's not, I don't dislike the person. It's just, you didn't do anything to get yourself there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, respect, because you're the winner and you got the votes at the end. Like, I'm going to give you the amount of respect that I think, you're due, which doesn't happen to be very much because you didn't happen to play very much. Right? That's the way that I feel about it. That'd be like if season 16 Victoria somehow won. What?
How?
You want me to say she's a good player? Yeah, like,
I agree.
Like, people want to act like she did something because she got all the way down to the very end of the game. Yeah.
I think she could have won against Zach.
Come on. I'm going to drag you here. Like, no. She's not a good player. She's a nice person. Mm-hmm. There is a difference. And she told the most ridiculous stories. That bird did not pick her up and carry her anywhere. Victoria.
I don't know about that.
That was the crow story. The crow that picked her up when she was a baby and almost kidnapped her, or whatever the hell it was.
What was that, a condor? A crow?
A
Those are like this
condor.
big.
Yeah, it was a. That's
That
what she said. It was a
didn't
crow.
It didn't pick you up when you weigh like 2
That definitely sounds
ounces.
like a story like her parents would tell her, and she like truly has just
Uh
believed
huh.
it her whole
Oh,
life.
yeah.
It's like whenever my dad
By
told
the
me that
way,
he bought me off the shelf or something. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like think about. I want you to repeat the words that you just said, and I want you to hear them.
I was bought
Play
off
it back
shelf.
in your head, and I want you to think about whether or not that seems plausible. Because if it doesn't, guess what? That probably didn't happen. And when you relay that story to other people, then we all just go, "Okay, sure, that sounds
Not as
right."
bad as Raven though.
Oh, Raven was
Dude.
the worst.
I cannot with her.
The
Hi,
list of,
Natalie.
like,
Hi, Shy Boy. Hi,
yeah.
Damien. I mean, Raven was just. Mm-mm.
I think she's
No.
the last person from Arkansas to play Big Brother.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, and
Fucking Cassie. Oh, I wanted to knock her out each time.
she's an embarrassment. We don't claim her. Hey,
I'm in
Caitlin.
Missouri and I don't claim her for y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you. They do have some very good barbecue in her town, though. I am pleased to announce. It's very good. And Barrett couldn't stand up inside the establishment, but that's neither here nor there. He is 7 foot tall. So, not really. He's close to it, though. But anyway,
Yeah,
so Betty. Yeah, Betty is, sorry, I was reading chat. Betty is, or was, the HOH, and she nominated Josh and Jacey. And they were just kind of like, okay, we're nominated. Is that the consensus? Like, they were just like, what are you going to do?
I feel like they kind of expected it, especially like Josh. Like, I mean, he didn't even try to talk to her. So, like.
Which, as Zach said, is stupid.
It's like, okay,
it
people
is.
are like, Betty is emotional for putting Josh up. I'm like, okay, well, Josh is stupid for not outing Kevin and Helena to Betty. And it was literally Betty telling Josh, Kevin is going to vote you out. He told me he's okay with you going. But Josh was like, oh, so they're not working with me.
Well, there were infinite moves that could have been made that were not made.
Well, that's a move that, like, Betty needs to talk about whenever she gets to the end, because I think she has a way better case to win than fucking Josh. I'm gonna say it. Fuck
I
Josh.
think she does.
But I don't know
agree.
if it's gonna happen, but she should win over Josh, in my opinion.
I agree too. But
I think Betty's had like the claw from the bottom type of story this whole time, whereas Josh kind of just, to me, Josh kind of just sat in an alliance the whole game and just nodded his head and did what the alliance said to do. My friend actually compared him to like, if he wins, he said that he feels like Josh is kind of like Xavier, and I kind of see that in a way, where like he just got with a group and just like yesed his way to the end, and then all of a sudden he just ended up tripping and falling into the final two in a weird way. And not to discredit Xavier, but that's kind of what happened with him in a weird way.
Well, that revisionist history.
I see him more like a Jillian to me.
Oh, okay. Like an accidental.
Yeah, like obviously we don't have someone voting for him wrongly, but yeah.
Right.
Still can't believe that. Didn't Topaz get fourth or not? She went out way earlier, right?
No, I think she went out earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
Tala got fourth.
But
go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, so Veto. You want to tell us about Veto?
Veto?
Because once again, I was absent for that. I've been absent for like forever.
It was the blindfold thing where they had to like have a blindfold over, and I think it was like they had to go through the like thing and like find pieces, right? And Betty was like literally walking into
I
the
love
house because
Betty.
she had the blindfold on and didn't know where the fuck she was going. I thought that was so fucking funny.
He was like, what in the actual hell is happening right now? Like, she said something like that, and I was like, oh my god, like, I cannot get enough of Betty.
Literally, she's so fucking good. Yeah, so they
I
went through
love Betty. I've been
She-
saying that though for weeks and weeks. I love Betty.
Betty, whoever found her in casting needs to do the rest of the cast every single season because like
Yeah.
she is, in my opinion, the best casting like that they've done in a long time. She's such good TV and she's like real.
Yeah,
That's what I
can we
want when I
order
watch
like a
these kind of
house of
shows.
her?
She will, like, immediately call you out on your shit. If you said something about her that was not nice, she will come to you and be like, that was rude, and don't talk to me ever again. Goodbye. And, like,
I'm done for the rest of the day.
Imagine
I'll
if
let
she
you
was
know
on
when we can talk.
BB10.
Oh my god,
BB10.
See, like I could see her fitting in the cast with BB10.
Mhm.
Like, I
See,
I could-
Does anybody want some cake?
oh, what the fuck is his name? What's the old guy's name again? Jerry?
Jerry.
Oh, she would be going after Jerry. I could just see it.
yeah,
She'd be
don't
calling
put your
Dan out.
fingers in
She'd be
people's
calling
face.
Dan out for his shit. Be like, Dan, you're fucking slimy. You're nasty. You're disgusting.
You better not. I love season 10. Season 10 is hands down my absolute favorite season
Mhm.
ever.
It's
And-
up there.
Daniel says season 6 is his favorite, and I like season 6. I love season 6. It's not better than season 10. I'm sorry. It's not better than season 10. It's not. Season 10 is the winner. And if anybody wants to argue with me about it, too bad, because I don't want to argue. I'm right.
We had Dan in season 10, who is pretty similar to Kevin, I think, as far as the diabolical
Mhm.
bullshitting.
And the owning
And
of it
the-
and knowing what you're doing.
Mhm.
Knowing what you're doing is
Dan
and
did it better, obviously, but
well, I mean, yeah, because he's Dan. Dan is like way up here, and everyone else is like, I see Dan up there. Because nobody compares to him.
True.
He's just that good. He's
No, but-
just that good.
Kevin is so good. He has I didn't realize until I was listening to Taryn I think yesterday, and he's saying how Kevin hasn't won any competitions. And I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah.
I was
one
like-
veto. That was
One
it.
veto. And he
Yeah, and I
barely
was-
won that because Gino couldn't spell nominees.
And I'm just over here like, Kevin
It was a
Kevin is so
spelling error.
good that I literally thought that he's won way more competitions
Mhm.
than I thought he did because he's had that much control.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's very like old school like mastermind in my opinion. Like when you had like Will who
Or a
didn't
Tyler.
win. Yeah,
Or-
yeah. Who
Mhm.
didn't win anything
Will,
like the whole season.
who had the entire house fast for no reason other than he was bored and wanted to know if they would do it, and they did
Yes.
for no reason whatsoever. Hey, what if we all just don't eat? Screw you. I like cheese dip. I'm eating.
He was eating the whole
He's
time.
like,
I
Huh?
don't think
Did
he did.
or- He just did it to see how
Yeah.
much control he had over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Crazy.
what it was.
Yeah.
What a
it was
crack.
just like for a day or two. It's like for no reason
I
whatsoever.
love that.
Mhm.
Just to see if they would do what, like, it's basically where am I going to meet the most resistance? Like, it's how much control do I have over these people? Who is the most controllable? Who can I control the easiest? I mean, it's a test for him, and he did it because he was
And
bored.
then who controls who? Like, if this person doesn't want to do it, but this person will, then they do it.
Mhm.
Like, what a crackhead. I love that. Okay.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I love that, and I love that comparison of Kevin to some of those old school, like fully in control, but you don't like the people in the house don't even realize that they are controlled by him. But
Mhm.
Shy Boy in chat makes such a good point. It says, I don't think Dan would have fumbled the bag like Kevin did this last week, and that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's why Dan way up there. And Kevin's
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to get there. And Dan's like, ha ha ha, you'll never make it. You know, because Dan is Dan. Kevin is good. He is good. And I've said it since the very first week, as Nick can attest. I've said it since the
Yes.
get-go that Kevin, he owns exactly who he is. He walked in, he saw he was not in a good position, and it was, I have to do whatever it is that I have to do.
He started faking stomach shit. Like, I'm
I mean,
convinced he was.
Yeah.
I'm convinced when he was on the block,
Yeah.
apparently, like, he was, like, really, like, sick in the house the first week. I'm like, that's some bullshit. I've seen this man put shit on his leg or whatever, and his leg is fine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he is a great manipulator, and he knew that he couldn't manipulate Herman, which is why he wanted him out. Like, he got put up week 1 and couldn't fight it, but
Mhm.
he could manipulate every HOH after that.
Yeah. I mean, and I love that. And I love that kind of player. I love somebody who, well, it's like, again, the great Dan Giesling said, if you don't like your cards, shuffle the deck. And that's exactly the kind of player that I like to see. And I like to see it when they do those moves and they know why they are doing them and they tell us why they are doing them. But no one in the house even knows that any of the moves occurred. Or they think the move is their own because there's so much like control exerted from, whoever the specific player is. And in this case, Kevin. But I do feel like Shy Boy said, Kevin, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, Kevin. And I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a shame because I do think that I don't think he's the most entertaining player of the season. I think he is the best player of the season. Betty is the most entertaining player of the season. I think Summer was one of the most likable players of the season. There are different things and aspects about different players that I absolutely love. I love those people. And so, anyway, yeah. So back to Veto. How did we get here?
I don't even.
We went from
know.
blindfolds to Dan Giesling is great.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whew. Anyway,
Anyways,
so go ahead.
We know Helena won the veto
By a long shot.
By a long shot. Yeah, it was like
at least 4 minutes or something.
She did it in 10 minutes.
And Josh
10 minutes was her
14
time.
16.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Josh did it in 16, and then Jacey-Lynne was like 24. Kevin was like 30 something, and then Betty was like in the lower 40s.
Yeah. So Helena like killed that comp. And I mean, hats off to her. She hasn't really needed to win anything.
I was gonna say she really needed to have something to hang her hat on, though. And it was a good time to do it.
Yeah. The only 2 times the veto wasn't used this season were when Helena won.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But I feel like once we saw that she won, we like kind of auto knew that like she wasn't really going to use it. So especially because Kevin would have obviously been the renom.
And she is like obsessed with Kevin, like we all are.
Yes, which I honestly I will say I do love their friendship like a lot. I like that we got that little segment in like one of the episodes this past week of her being like, Kevin's like my little brother and stuff like that. And I thought that was like really cute. Because I feel like they genuinely have like gotten like very close. And it's so funny too because I remember like even like back in like week 1 when Helena got in that girls alliance that I don't even remember the name of because it like disparted within like 2 hours of it forming. Yes, that. And I remember like Helena being like, yeah, I'm close to like these girls to Kevin like week 1. And I'm like, girl, that's a mistake. But I mean,
yeah, don't tell him a thing. Like,
yeah.
Because this is Kevin.
We all watched
what
he did to Helena. We watched what he did.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Really?
And what's the name of this group? Okay,
and then he's
cool.
like, okay. And then he goes to somebody else and he's like, well, let me tell you what's happened, you see. Let me flip through. Well, here I've written down this. And it's like, dude, nobody talked to Kevin. But I can't help but like him. Oh, Spaghetti Boy himself. And he will forever be that. Yeah, Shy Boy says, well, first of all, Adrienne says Helena did win 2 vetoes that messed up the plan. Shy Boy says, I don't know if the wins mean anything to the jury, though. Maybe not, but you got to be able to say something if you make it to the end. What are you going to do? I mean, everybody's always like, here's my resume.
Mhm.
But like, what are you going to do? Go, well, I was there. Like, you know,
Which is
Well,
literally
I-
what Josh's. Josh.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's more Josh's resume than Helena's, because I mean, Helena can at least argue the fact that she hasn't touched the block still. Like, she still has not gone
Right.
up, which is
Which
so
is-
crazy to me. Like,
I don't get it. You're
what
right.
I think is
I think it's
is
because
like
for
one of
3
Kevin's.
weeks or for 3 weeks,
like-
no one knew she was in there.
that's
Well,
a good
true.
thing.
That's true, Zach. That's true. Is it a good thing? I mean, in this case,
I think
yeah.
it is. She,
Yeah.
I
It could be
think
argued either
she-
way.
Yeah, like it's if you know how to work the radar the right way, you don't want
If
people
it's
to know.
intentional, if you're
Yeah.
doing that on purpose, then yes.
Mhm.
If you did it by accident, no.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, that's my whole thing. I have no issue with people that float or people that any other term that you want to use where
Kristen.
power. Yeah, Kristen. Yeah, I don't have any
Stop.
issues whatsoever with people who do that. If that is your intention. It's the people who by accident find themselves flittering over here and over there and doing whatever. Hold on.
Mhm.
Come get your cat. Sorry. That cat is going to get my biscuits.
Cat's just floating.
Like, just floating from here to there. Like, these people that think that they have played some, mastermind game. And it's like, you didn't do anything. And what you did do, you didn't do on purpose. You just
Mhm.
kind of were like, oh, how'd I get here? I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I could not
But-
imagine watching BB19. Is that the season? The Raven season? Like that, like live feeds and all? I'd be like, what is
It was really torturous, I will say.
Yes, I was gonna say it was pretty brutal.
There was probably like a lot of drama with Josh and shit. Like,
There was drama, but the drama was more like it made you mad than anything because you were just like, what is this? Like, why is Alex yelling about cat ears? Like, what? You cannot be this mad over fucking cat ears or Raven just randomly being mad about. Like, it was just very much like
there
it
was
made me
so
mad
much,
more than I was
mob
entertained.
mentality.
Yeah,
Yes.
like people like complain. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Big Brother 21 wasn't like the best season. I mean, the pre-jury was bad, but I think the
Mhm.
post-jury was like, I mean, Taco Tuesday was pretty good. And
Oh my gosh, Taco Tuesday!
that
I
was
remember
great.
podcasting that.
yeah, and then like, I can watch BB21, but I still haven't. I have not sat and watched through BB19. I can't put myself through that torture.
There's like no one
Um,
likable in 19 either. I don't want to get off track,
Well,
but like
yeah.
I just feel like at least in 21 you had like Nicole
the time, I
Anthony
liked
and like
Christmas.
Kat. Oof,
there were
that's a
people I
choice.
liked in 19,
not anymore.
but there
I
are
liked
people I
Jess,
liked.
but
Yeah,
Jess
I
didn't
did
really
too.
last very long. So
No,
All of 4 weeks.
unfortunately.
right.
But I just could not. There are some seasons that I honestly don't understand how people are like, that's my favorite season. And I'm like, but how have you seen the others? Because there are some other seasons that exist, and I think maybe you didn't watch them because,
Mhm.
like, I hear what you're saying, and I've processed it multiple times, and I still just don't understand why you are saying something that is so incredibly stupid. Like,
But
I don't
BB9
get
was the
it.
best season ever.
I mean,
Right.
listen, I don't dislike
I
season 9.
I'd rather watch
I
9 over
like
19.
Yeah.
hands down, all day, every day.
Oh
I'm gonna
my
tell you
God.
something. Season 9 had some of the best feeds. Those feeds were incredibly entertaining, sometimes hard to watch, sometimes like, ooh, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. For sure, don't do that. Like, I had that reaction a lot, like, oh, yeah, you're still doing it. Don't do that. Like, I had that a lot. But I loved that figures Natalie. Season 19 is
I just
Todrick's
read that. I'm
favorite.
like,
He
stop.
did.
Gross.
I remember him saying that on the live feeds actually, because I forgot who it was, but they were asking, "Oh, which season should I watch after this?" Oh, it was Misha, and he was like, "Oh, season 19 is like my favorite one. It was so good." And I was like,
Yeah. See, this is why I don't like
"Huh?"
that man, and I don't like his opinions because you dumb. You dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but season 9, like, I loved Alex Coladonado.
Oh,
I
I like
still love him.
Alex.
He is so nice. Bueno. Like, he had to put up with Amanda.
Amanda like got
I
put through hell too, I will say.
She did, and I really hated when she had that hypoglycemic attack that occurred,
Oh,
and like that
yes, when
was
she
very
passed out.
scary. Yeah, it was very scary, and at the same time, Allison's face was swollen up and was already being seen by the
They didn't have
EMTs.
any
Like, it
bowls.
was,
They didn't have any cups. They had to give bowls.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Tragic.
Oh, that's right, because they took
yeah.
away all the
They were like, get her a glass of water. We don't have any glasses. And James is like saving her life over there. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Mhm.
That's a man I would
Yeah,
not want touching me if I was on the floor dying. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And reading the chat, there's a lot of good stuff that I'm just like, yeah, I do remember that. Yep, I do remember that.
What was that?
Um,
What was the girl's name? Megan.
Yeah, Megan
Oh, when
Louder.
she-
She was, yeah, because
That's
Caitlin was like, remember the Panda and Pow Pow mix up that led to that girl self evicting. I mean, that was horrible. And Megan, like, she came on here with us. It was kind of crazy because she actually watched us before she ever went on to the show, which was surprising. She said she was going to talk about us on the live feeds too if she had gotten the chance. And so that would have been cool. I mean, we were talked about on the live feeds anyway because Raven was all pissed off at her mailman for telling us where she lived. But that was not his fault, honey. I just asked.
What?
Oh, y'all don't know?
Explain this. No.
Y'all don't know this story. Well, let me just tell you. Let me give you a quick little rundown. So Barrett texted me and he says, hey, so I have the list of towns where people live that are going to be kidnapped for Big Brother. I said, how did you get this list? And he told me, I will not reveal, and I was like, really? That's how I knew. I was like, that's real then. That's legit. And he goes, yeah, there's a town in Arkansas. I said, where is it? He said, Devall's Bluff. I said, that's not that far from here. And he said, you want to go? There's no names, right? We only have towns, and we know approximate date. We know the date that they're looking for somebody to film in that town, right? So I'm like, all right, we'll go. We live streamed the whole thing, the entire thing on Periscope. And listen,
Now y'all
that
doing
town is very
TMZ.
small. Devall's Bluff, very small town. Their establishment where you could go, to the local honky tonk. It was just called Beer. It said Beer on the side of it. That's the name of it, Beer. I said, well, that is original, isn't it? Their
Sounds
gas
about right.
station, the only one they have. It has some fried green beans, and I said that is a weird thing to have in a gas station. So I bought some, did not like them, but Barrett ate them. Anyway, so basically, we don't know where they're going to be filming. The town's not that big. We just drive around and kind of in concentric circles. There was a highway that was a dirt road, really confusing. I'm like, this is a dirt road, Barrett. This is not a highway. But sure enough, it is. It's made out of dirt. Very children of the corn out there. I was scared. And also, I did see a noose hanging from a tree, which really freaked me out. And I was torn between I want to knock on the door and educate them on why you should not have that. That is wrong.
Oh, Raven actually put that up herself.
Possibly. I was like, but also, I am afraid of those people, and I'm going to drive by as quickly as possible. But it is all on the live stream, all of it. And Gunnar and Leighton were both with us, and Gunnar was in the back making up stories about the history of Duval's Bluff, all of which was not factual at all, because they had like 92 churches, the Battle of Blood Church, he said. And he was making up all kinds of stuff out of sheer boredom. But I started going into different establishments, into their lone one gas station full of fried green beans, and asking, hey, do you know, have you seen a film crew around here today? And I acted like I'm like some sort of an official person. Back then we were like called Julie's Chin. So I'm like, I'm with Julie's Chin podcast. Perhaps you've heard of us on the intrawebs.
You are not.
We don't have that yet around here.
Yeah, exactly. The intrawebs. What's that? No, like pretending like I was somebody, like, you know, like with a notebook, got a pen tucked behind my ear, like I'm somebody of importance. I'm like this. Excuse me. I'm here looking. Do you happen to know where the film crew is filming today? Can you give me directions to that? And they're like, we don't know anything about that, ma'am. And I'm like, well, who around here might be of such and such age that you think might be somebody who would be prone to do such a thing? And they start giving me names and stuff. And I'm like, well, where do they live? And so I'm driving around looking for these addresses. And then they said, well, you know who you need to ask? You need to go down there to Craig's Barbecue. I said, Craig's Barbecue, you say? I might be hungry.
So funny.
I know.
Your green beans just did not do it for me. And so we go down to the Craig's Barbecue, where they don't take anything in the form of payment other than cash, which I did not have. Well, I had a little bit. I had just enough that I could buy us all like a sandwich or something. Barrett really could not stand up inside the establishment. It was as old as dirt, this place. It is the best barbecue I've ever had. It's just called Craig's. And I talked to the waitress at Craig's, and she said, oh, I think I know who it is. And she says, you know, Miss So-and-so? And I'm like, honey, do I look like I am from this town? I do not know her. And she said, well, she's got a daughter about that age, and I think that there was something happening down by that house. I said, well, where do they live? And she said, well, I'm not sure, but if you go down to this place and you ask so-and-so down there, you're liable to find out. And I said, okay, well, first I'm going to get a sandwich because it smells good in here. And so we got ourselves a sandwich, and it was delicious. And I saw a place, too, that sells pie. It just said pie on the building. They're not much for naming their establishments down there. Just had pie spray painted on a cinder block building. But I couldn't figure out how to get back there to get the pie. I was like, there's got to be a road, a highway made of dirt or something. But I couldn't find it. And I was on a mission anyway. And so I go to here, to there, wherever, asking everybody. Well, we come up. And reception was real spotty there. And it kept cutting out. And then I'd have to drive to this certain place and get like Periscope back up and running again, and then drive away so that we could be back to live streaming. And God bless the folks that stayed with us the entire time. And so I Damien's like, not the Raven story. Damien knows. And so I see the mailman coming. I said, if anybody in this town is going to have information, it's going to be the mailman. And so I wheel up right in front of him. I mean, I block him in. He can't go anywhere. He's talking to me. I'm not kidding. I did. I blocked. Like I pulled up. Like he's like stuck at the mailbox. He's like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "No, sir. We need to talk." And so I rolled my window down. I just acted like it was a hand crank. No, I just pushed the button. I rolled my window down. Like I suddenly transported to 1962. No, it's an electric window. I push the button and my window goes, and newfangled things in these cars. And so I said, pardon me, sir. Have you happened to see a film crew around here today? And he said, as a matter of fact, I have. And at that point in time, guess what? We lost reception. And so Periscope cut out for a second. But he says to me, he goes, you know where Miss Davis lives down the way? And I said, I don't know who the heck Miss Davis is. But I said, Miss Davis? Yes, I do know where Miss Davis lives. Where is this film crew in correlation to Miss Davis's house? And he said, well, you just go right on down this road and you round the bend and you go right there past Miss Davis' house. It's right across the street. That whole film crew there, they're filming. And I said, well, hot diggity dogs, let's go. And so then we had to get the string back up. I had to tell everybody what was happening. And we go round the curve. I don't know where Miss Davis lives, but to Miss Davis's credit, she's got a big, enormous, giant, hand-painted letter D just plastered on the front of her house. God, that must be where the Davises live right there. There's a big old, there's her name. It says,
This is fan fiction.
This is where Mrs. Davis lives. I just know it. Well, I was a little too late because the film crew was no longer there, but I had just missed them according to the mailman. And so I said, circle around, make sure there can be another house with a big giant D on it. I don't know, but there wasn't. So I'm like, this got to be Miss Davis's house. And it was. I found out later. And the house across the street was, in fact, Raven's house where they had done the filming, and I had just missed them. So then I go back into town and I stop and I find the waitress from Craig's Barbecue. And I say, excuse me, Mrs. Craig, I have found Miss Davis's house. You know Miss Davis lives right on that? And she said, I do know Miss Davis. I said, well, the house is right across the street and I need to know who lives there. So anyway, we found out the name and everything from the local townsfolk of who lived there. And then we started looking them up, and we found out that they were the ghost hunters and all of that. And then I tried to talk to them.
Forgot about that.
But they would not talk to me. They got all mad and blocked us. And I said, well, screw you too, Mrs. Davis's neighbors, with your dogs that you don't even have properly fenced in your yard, just running around willy-nilly out there. They're going to get hit on that dirt highway. But anyway.
I had a dog for like 16 years that would like run next to cars on the dirt road. They're a different breed.
Was it a highway though? Was it a dirt highway?
A highway.
Because it's a highway. It's a highway. And so anyway, so Damien's laughing at me. Damien remembers when all this happened. And so I'm like, I got to find out the names of these folks. And so I did, and I messaged them, and they said, we don't want to talk to your kind. And I said, what do you mean, podcasters? Perhaps you didn't hear I'm on the internet. They didn't care. They didn't care. And so they blocked us. Well, so then, because the kidnappings occur in consecutive days, right? And we had just live streamed all of it and revealed the name of someone that they just kidnapped. That's a no-no. I don't care, though. I don't care. Who was watching us? 2 people, Damien and my mom, probably. And so, anyway, I'm just playing. And the folks at the Quickie Mart down there that's selling the green beans, the fried green beans. And Craig. And so, they found out, right? Somebody else who also was going to be on that season watched us live stream Finding Raven, and that person is Megan Louder. She saw it, so she knew, and she told them when she got there, and she was mad at us. She told us that she was mad at us for doing that, and I'm like, well, I'm so sorry. I hate Raven. I didn't know that, though, whenever I found her, and I did feel a little bit bad because I just got really excited. Like, we're about to find out who's going to be on Big Brother before anybody else. I got very excited. I just wanted to watch the film crew filming it. Missed it, but whatever. But Raven talked about it because I guess Megan had told her, or maybe production or something. I'm not really sure. We were very hated at that time. And guess what? Don't care. Still don't care. And anyway, Raven bitched about it on the live feeds, and they cut it because obviously her mailman did not sign a consent form, because why would he? He's my friend, not yours, Raven. Me, the mailman, Mrs. Davis, we're like this. So close. But yeah, that definitely happened, and it was so funny. The whole thing. And
What if that was the reason she went off the rails? Like, she was like, "Oh my gosh,
Because
these
it's Julie's
paparazzi,
shit.
these paparazzi are harassing me and my mastermind
paparazzi.
gameplay."
The paparazzi. Yeah.
I was like, yes, I'm here with Julie's Stupid Little Podcast. As if that actually, perhaps you've heard of us. We have 12 followers now.
You could be one of them. You could be number 13.
Right.
And that's right. Play your cards right. We'll let you subscribe. Maybe click that bell and get the instant notifications. But anyway, yeah, the townsfolk were very nice. All very helpful. It wasn't just the mailman, and he didn't know. Why are you mad at him, Raven? Why are you mad at him? I had him blocked in.
It's probably her cousin.
Excuse me.
Roxy's got
Probably.
answers.
I just wanted to know, who is it? Guess what? I was disappointed all day long, and then even more so when the show started.
Weren't we all?
Yes. Everyone
There was-
except for Damien.
But there was a girl from Rogers who's on the Survivor season this year.
Yeah.
Who?
We actually know her. She played Sequester.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
Tori.
Mhm. Yeah.
Have you caught up
I
on Survivor?
have, actually. Yes, I have.
Nick and
have.
Casey, have both of you caught up?
We have, I don't know if the audience has, but I think
Oh.
we're about to have a spoiler. So,
Spoiler.
I don't care.
Oh, she's gone. Well, not dead. She's not dead. She's
gone.
Jesus gone! David's dead!
Please.
She's a good player, though. Yeah.
Apparently
yeah,
she was
Tori is
hosting-
great.
She was hosting something in Northwest Arkansas, and I didn't find out she was from Rogers until late. And then I was like, "Oh,
Well, I think, though, she's actually from Oklahoma, right?
oh, she is."
I think so, and that she is living in Rogers, because I watched her play Sequester. She was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was so good. And then when I saw that she was playing, I was like, wait, is that the same girl? Because it said she was from Arkansas, and I was like, I thought she was like from Oklahoma or something like that. So I don't know. Or maybe Texas. I don't know. I don't think she's originally from here, but whatever. We'll claim it. She definitely lives here.
The way Caitlin typed out cancer.
Jeez Louise, I cannot. And guess what, guys? We're still a little bit on veto. But so Betty was HOH. Helena won the veto. And there was some back and forth between who was going to go home. Was it going to be Josh? Was it going to be Jacey-Lynne? Was it going to be Josh? Was it going to be Jacey-Lynne? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And guess what? They did not make the greatest of decisions in hindsight, because they got rid of Jacey-Lynne.
Also, whenever Kevin, first off, I don't think it's. I mean, Kevin's great. Kevin Smith, that Helena got the prize to speak with him and ask questions.
Kevin
I
Martin.
forgot about that.
Kevin
Yeah,
Martin,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. And for one, I don't think that's much of a prize, because obviously he can't say much. And two, I was kind of confused on it, because she was saying, "Oh, I'm stuck between a personal move and an emotional move." Was that about getting Josh or Jacey-Lynne out, or using the veto and getting Kevin put off on the block.
I think the personal move would be keeping Jacey-Lynne. Personal move would be keeping Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think she was going to use the veto at any point, but I think she was just thinking as far as who do we vote out? Do I convince Kevin to do it one way or this way kind of thing? Like, she didn't know, because personal move, she knew Jacey-Lynne was better, right? She said that. But emotional move, I don't know. That would be Josh.
Yeah. Well, they sent Jacey-Lynne packing, and then Jacey-Lynne said she was the fifth wheel. That was her whole. Well, I felt like the fifth wheel. I was the fifth wheel. I was the
Girl.
fifth wheel.
2 of those wheels were fighting the whole fucking time. Like,
I mean, come on. But so she went home, and then and then lo and behold, guess who wins the new HOH?
Jackson Mickey.
well, no, part of Josh's spiel to stay with Kevin and Helena was that he would throw the final 4 HOH, and Jacey-Lynne, I think Jacey-Lynne promised them final 3 or something at minimum.
She did. She promised them final 3, and Josh said that he would throw the final 4
HOH.
Which I don't understand why people trust whatever they say.
Why would you believe that?
Oh,
yeah.
I'll throw it. Yeah,
The most important comp.
Who knows? It could be a luck comp, and like at the end of the day, they could like accidentally win. Like you don't know. Like I feel like if someone says that they're gonna throw a comp, a lot of the times it's just like,
I don't ever believe them.
Why?
Because I don't believe anybody about anything. I'm a member of the FBI.
Are you hiding the fact that you're actually a doctor?
Yes.
That's Josh's resume. That's Josh's biggest move, hiding the fact that he was a doctor.
And he's definitely going to say that in the final 2 speech, and the jury is going to be like, oh my god, this guy is a genius. And
this guy's just like Xavier.
Then they're going to watch it back and be like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
That's what I think if they vote for him to win, they'll watch it back and be like, no, he definitely does not deserve that.
I think anyone left deserves it more than Josh, but
I agree with you. I
actually agree with that as well.
But I still think that there might be a bitter jury against Josh if he's sitting next to the right person. I think if he's sitting next to Betty, I think the jury will vote for him hands down. I would like Betty to win, but I think that a lot of them see her as an emotional player. At least that's what.
Well, she is, rightfully so.
And, but she did make the best move of the season, which is pitting Josh against Kevin.
Well, yes, but I don't think that they care. We care. I don't think that they'll care in the moment, is what I mean. Because I do think that we could see bitterness there.
Yeah, because Moose and Herman are definitely going to vote on. I think they're basing their vote on competition prowess. So that's like a block right there. They're voting. I feel like they'll be voting together. And then Gino and Jacey-Lynne. I don't know who they would vote for.
Me either.
Well, and saying they is 100% correct because it will be one vote.
Yes.
It will be one vote.
Let me go look at go through the people and see.
I do think that if Kevin does go this week, that it's probably the best thing for Helena, because then Kevin could go into jury and be like, yeah, me and Helena were the ghosts, and this, that, whatever, and we had Josh. And
that could be good for Betty. That'll be bad for Josh, actually, if Kevin goes.
I think it'll be bad for Josh, yeah. But I think it's good for the other two. So... Right.
I don't really know that anything is good for Josh, to be honest, but I mean, probably, but I haven't given it enough thought.
He somehow ruined his game and then picked it back up off the floor and was like, okay, yeah, we're going to make it. Like,
look, I dropped this. Here it is.
He completely took his game and was like, and he was like,
so good. Summer, I think Summer will vote for Betty.
Yeah.
Summer, I think,
the
will vote
end.
for Betty over anybody. So.
Yeah. So, but
Well, yes, queens vote for queens.
I could see Moose.
Mhm.
I could see Moose voting for Betty as well.
yeah,
Well, I could
Marty,
see
I
Herman
think that he's
too.
voting for Josh regardless. I think.
Yeah, Marty
Yeah.
just doesn't like Betty.
Marty doesn't like Betty.
Well, Marty's a schmuck, so whatever.
I think. Well, so do y'all know the tea that Herman and Betty went to high school together, or is this
I
like?
didn't know that.
The North,
Yeah.
like they, I think that they were trying, like they figured it out towards the end, like right before Herman went, that they actually knew, like they knew like one person and then the other person, like they knew of people. They both knew
Mhm.
of the same people, and they were kind of in the same circles, but never realized it until Herman left, basically.
Yeah, Betty knew the person whose name Herman has tattooed on his arm, because I
Well-
heard her
Oh,
talking
cool.
about it with Josh. Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Oh.
Kat was in the house with her dad, so it's fine.
Wait, who?
Catherine Dunn was in the house with her dad,
Who's her dad?
Cliff.
Yeah, not really though. Not really, Casey. It's a joke.
I know. I'm like trying to figure
It's
out.
like what?
I didn't even know.
I knew she was on there with her beauty queen bestie Holly,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that Mickey knew them, or Jack was trying to say that like they all three knew each other, and it's like no, it's just the
Mhm.
two.
Well, they ran in the same circle. I mean, there was some overlap there. So let me just okay.
Oh, don't say
Kat
Sarah
says-
Hanlon is a crappy winner. Oh.
Okay, listen. Damien says, I think Josh is going to take the win. He isn't the most deserving, but I think if he gets it in the end, unless Kevin can persuade them that Helena deserves it, because she
Mhm.
does, but they didn't think so. So then Joseph says, well, I don't think Josh will win. I think he's very lucky to have a seat in finale night. He hasn't had to do much to win, and if he wins, he'll probably be up there with Sarah Hanlon as crappy winners. And
Who's saying Sarah's a crappy winner? Because Sarah is
Joseph.
amazing.
Sarah
listen,
Queen.
Do I think that they gave her a lot of power whenever she was able to, like, it was basically a coup d'etat or something that she had got at one point, right? Or Brittany had gotten kind of
She
in the
got it.
middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Sarah.
So I get it to that extent, but also like she flipped to save Godfrey, and someone voted their own showmans out to save Godfrey. And that's who took her to the end of the game. Okay? like that's who got her into that final two. I could talk about her for forever. I didn't even watch live feeds.
Sarah
Well,
was a queen.
I
She will
agree.
stay there.
I know.
Period.
Sorry, Joseph.
well, Joseph thinks that Helena is going to be the one talking to Arissa tomorrow, and
I could see it.
and I'm hoping that happens. But I'm so nervous. I'm so like
You're hoping she's voted out at the final
I'm
four?
just hoping Kevin stays.
Yeah.
Is the way I'm looking at it. It's
I
like,
agree.
how does Kevin stay? Because ultimately, I think Kevin has played the best game all season long.
Oh, his
I mean,
speech
he's
is
had
going
the
to be
hardest
iconic on the
road.
block.
Mhm.
Like, whatever speech is about to come out of his mouth tomorrow, like...
So I'm just nervous about that. However, I mean, whatever happens, happens. And you guys, I cannot even believe in less than a week, we know who wins. In less than a week on Thursday.
It's like 4 days. It's like 3 days, 3 to 4 days. Like,
Mhm.
Right. Is that right? It's this Thursday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this Thursday.
Sorry, I just said it out loud, heard it, and then went, that can't be right. But
like
it
3
is.
more episodes, and one of them is tomorrow. Oh.
Mhm.
My gosh. So, okay, let me just back up for a half a second. So, Josh is HOH, and he has nominated Kevin and Helena. Correct? Yes.
This week?
And
Is that
Oh
right?
no,
Yeah.
no,
We
no, no.
nominated
Helena's
Betty
not on the
and
block. It's
Kevin
Betty
and Betty. I'm sorry. It's
yeah.
Kevin and Betty. It's Kevin and Betty. And then Josh also won POV.
Mhm.
And that's where we are right now in the house. And
Yeah. The feeds literally
and I
ended.
just
Literally,
yeah,
like we got
As soon as
the
Arissa was calling them all to the living room
mm-hmm. That was
and
it.
announced a special eviction.
I am just like so flummoxed, so perplexed about what is going to happen. Like, there's so much that has to occur over the next 4 days before we see our winner crown, that I'm just like, what is going on? What is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
So much is going to occur between now and then. It's just going to be very lively. And I say, well, what time do you think that the finale? Should we wait and do our podcast on Friday, or do you want to do it right afterward? I don't know what time.
It might end too late for me because I probably am gonna have to work Friday morning. So
Well, let's do it Friday evening then and talk about it.
okay.
Are we good with that? I think so.
I would be free for that if everyone else is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can y'all be here Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
ready.
I wrote down the possibilities, and I think I got them all down. Okay. So we have Josh and Helena. Who do y'all think would win against that? In that, I think Josh would.
Josh. Yep.
I think I think Josh.
Sadly.
That one can be
It's hard,
like,
honestly.
That's
it's
a 50-50
hard
for me, but I still think Josh.
Yeah, because I feel like Kevin might honestly have a lot of
because if Kevin leaves
in the jury. Yeah, if Kevin leaves, I feel like we've seen Kevin manipulate people all season long, and you think he's not going to go to jury and push for Helena to win? You're crazy. So I feel like he's going to really, if he goes like at 4, I think he's going to go into jury and really like
and he
push
could
for a
take
Helena
Josh
win.
at that point. He'd be like, Josh really did nothing. It was just me and Helena. That's where it's like, okay, that might not be great for Helena.
Yeah, on how he handles that, I guess. But I agree.
Or it might not be great for Josh, I mean.
Which is kind of where the hesitation is. What do you think, Zach?
I think it just comes down to I haven't seen either of the two, like, how good of a speaker they are. Like,
yeah, we've never even had like Helena make a speech all season.
I mean, I kind of saw whenever she was fighting with Jacey-Lynne, she was, going off, and I was like,
she was on it. Like, you could tell, like, at some point she was trying to just, like, deflect, and then it was like, shut the hell up. Like, she hit her point where she was like, actually, bitch, like, let me tell you something. And
I'm done for the day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Oh, wrong person. What's the next option?
So Josh and Betty. I think Betty could win.
I think
Betty could win too.
And my heart really wants it to be Betty, but I also truly think logically it would be Betty.
Yeah, because if she
saw through Kevin like week 2, and she could bring that up and be like, Kevin and I have that argument because I did hate him. I could see right through his game. No one else could. I never had power. I tried to tell everybody, like.
Yeah, because the only votes that he wouldn't have.
Because Betty could be like, I talked to Marty every single time and told him Helena and Kevin, and he would never do it. That's really the only reason she got nominated was because of Kevin.
Yeah. And the only votes that she wouldn't have would be Marty and...
If she's with Josh, I think maybe...
Jacey-Lynne doesn't like Betty.
Yeah.
I think maybe Helena and Kevin would vote for Josh over Betty, but I don't know 100%.
Yeah, it would depend on if he was the one that evicted them.
I think so too.
And if Jacey-Lynne doesn't like Betty, then automatically Gino doesn't like Betty.
We're also forgetting too that we might even be losing a juror, or Canada might be voting for the winner too, because there's only going to be 8 jury members, so it's like I feel like there's so many like layers to this finale, which is like kind of exciting for us, because like I feel like normally we go into a finale, especially with Big Brother, we're just like, okay, well, this person is clearly going to win the whole thing. Whereas this season, it's like, I could see any of the 4 winning in like different scenarios. And then on top of that, we still have the 8-person jury. So are we losing a juror, whatever? So like, there's just so much that we don't know what's going to
I think it's
happen.
more
I love
likely that
it.
we would lose a juror than candidate voting, in my opinion. And
Mhm.
Kevin actually, like a couple weeks ago on feeds, they were like, I think it was actually right after the triple. He basically said, if any, like when we get to the end, like we all need to make a deal to not vote each other out of the jury, kind of thing. Like
Mm.
he was like gaming, and I'm like, how is nobody seeing this? Like he's talking about jury
Yeah.
in front of everybody.
Whenever did any of y'all watch BB or Canada 3 whenever they were voting out a jury member, was that after feeds ended?
I think so. Because I don't think we even
They would have to
knew
get to the final
until.
two. Whoever wins final 3 HOH, I'm assuming, is who would vote out a jury member, right?
Well,
They did
in
it
season.
together.
Yeah, in season
Yeah.
3, the final 3 did it together, and they decided they had to come to a decision on
They did. I
who
forgot
the
his
jury
name.
member was that they
It
were.
was the first jury
Jordan,
member. Yeah, Jordan.
the one
Which
that
they
got blindsided in the Godfrey vote.
Which, if they did it again, would be Herman.
Right.
Jameson
probably
says
wanted to
Marty
see him
wins
out.
Canada's favorite player, so help me. You
And
and
I
me
would think-
both.
Oh, what if they
Jameson.
took away Marty's jury?
They would take. I think they would. I think they would do Marty.
I would be here for it.
Oh, girl.
If I was in their heads thinking the most wild card,
Helena wouldn't want to do that, or Kevin, but the other two
Yeah.
definitely would. They'd be like, fuck Marty.
Mhm.
Betty would for sure be like, "No, not Marty," or Betty would be like, "Yeah, Marty."
Yeah, I agree. That'd be good. I think that it would be either Marty or maybe one of the showmances, because they feel like they're 2 votes essentially. We just said it before, so it's like,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you don't think you're getting them, might as well get rid of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's definitely a twofer. What's the next option?
Josh and Kevin. I think Kevin would win.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Because versus where Josh is likable, Kevin just is just outplayed him, pretty much, in my opinion.
Hi,
The majority of the
Damien.
game. Yeah.
Love you, Damien.
Bye, Damien. And then next, who I'm here for, and I would really like, is Helena and Betty.
My dream final 2. My
Yep.
dream
Betty.
final 2.
Betty wins there.
But
I
Betty
don't care.
wins.
That's what we need, though. I agree. I would love
Well,
I
that.
don't even care.
So why do y'all think Betty would win? Because if Kevin goes,
Yeah, that's so true. But I still think Betty. Oh gosh, I don't know. Now I'm just like, see,
I mean,
that's
because
that could be another toss up for me.
okay, so say if Kevin goes this week, so that would leave Helena, Betty, and Josh. So those 3, if they have to vote out a member,
I think Betty goes to final 2
I
either way
still
there.
think Betty. Though.
yeah.
I think Betty is winning this game. Like, I said it right before she won veto, but it's like there's something within Business B that, like, once she has a fire under her ass, like, she's taking everybody down, and she put up Josh. Was it emotional? Sure, but like he had wronged her. Like if she feels some type of way, like she's gonna go after that person. If she feels like she needs to win Big Brother Canada 10 and she's going to, like, she can visualize it, like she's gonna go after it and do the same thing. And that's what I like about
into
Betty.
existence.
Visualize it.
She's
Is
gonna
what she told
blow
Kevin.
dry it into her, just every part
Manifest
of her.
it.
Yes. That's what I think.
Oh wait, but during the episode we also got to see their families too, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Betty's fiance or husband or boyfriend or Ian.
Her significant
I could
other.
have cried. Her partner,
yeah.
I could have cried because he was like, "You're doing amazing." Like, it was just so reassuring. I was like, "Damn, like that's a good guy for Betty."
Also,
I know
was
so
like,
many people live for those, and I'm just like, meh. I don't
I
care.
was
I'm
like,
the same way, Roxy. I don't even like on Survivor. They're all like, "Oh my god, it's my mom," and I'm like, girl, get it together.
Is
Like,
Janet playing in the competition? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, I'd be like, if I was on Survivor, I'd be like, okay, can I get some food though? Like,
She can stand between her
Right.
toes. What's she doing out here, you know?
I know, for real. It's
But I feel like Survivor is
so-
like 36, 30, 39 days at that point. Big Brother is like 3 fucking months. So for me, it's
Mhm.
just like, I don't know. I love that they get to finally see their family because I don't think BB24 they ever got to see them, right?
I don't.
maybe
Remember?
23?
Or
Or,
23?
No.
Was it 23?
no, they never.
It was 23.
I think the jurors got. Not did they get letters?
Thank you, Shy Boy, for answering.
They did
No.
in 22. The jurors got to see
Yeah.
their family in 22. I
Yeah,
don't
in
know.
All Stars. I don't think they did in 23.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Weird.
Which honestly,
Go ahead.
I was just saying. I mean, if you get a letter from home, I mean, I feel like that'd be
I mean, big deal.
to me that'd be enough. But
I
too.
mean, and not that I do talk to I talk to my mom like every day. She's the most unintentionally funny person I've ever known. So I do talk to her a lot, but also I could definitely play a game and I don't want anything outside to infiltrate what I'm doing because
Mhm.
I'm the kind of person that I'm going to leave all of my manners and all of who I truly am as a person, all of that's getting left outside the door, and I'm coming in with a killer instinct. Like I am not
Roxy Cutthroat.
not going to be nice. I will not play. I don't play Candyland nicely. I'm certainly not going to play this nicely.
Not gonna get voted out for being nice. I agree with that.
I would just be nervous,
I mean,
like how they go to the hometowns, like at different points of the season.
Don't go to my hometown.
And I'll just be like, oh my god.
They do that anymore. I don't think they do that anymore. They did it
because of COVID.
I think they did. I watched something. Oh man, I can't remember it now, but it was like one of the showmances. They like interviewed like his ex. I think it was Brendan and Rachel. They like went to Brendan's house, like area, and like interviewed
his
his
ex-fiance
with her mom. Like I was like, oh my god, we got ex-mom.
They did that for Christy too, or Christine.
Christine.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Christine. Yes.
And then they did it. They interviewed Hayden for Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, in chat, Justin. Hi, Justin. Justin says, has the veto ceremony happened yet? And Shy Boy was super nice and answered that and says, yes, it's already happened. And somebody has already been evicted. So we already have the final 3. It's just that we don't know who it is because the feeds are down. I know, shock, right? The feed's down. Big Brother Canada. Who would have thought? But yeah, so we have no idea. Like, it's just speculative at this point. But yeah, it's already happened. And I appreciate chat jumping in and answering that. And Joseph says, I think Kevin's the biggest surprise story this season. His first impression is that he's somebody who wanted to give RHAP some click, but he can win it. Listen, I've been a Kevin fan from day one, from the get-go. Mm-hmm. When Daniel thought I was nuts, he was like, what? I mean, but who's surprised by that?
Yeah.
Kevin has parts that Daniel does not like. Daniel likes the girls that are blonde, and that's it. That's his criteria.
That's Daniel's
and I love
standard.
Daniel. And I forgot to call Daniel. If you're watching, which I know you're not, I've got to call him back. I totally forgot. We've been playing phone tag for 2 days. 2 days. Big Sissy Banana, can I call you Big Sissy in the chat tonight? Hey, Big Sissy. I love Big Sissy Banana. Can I call you Big Sissy?
My train of thought gone.
Oh, get it together, Zach. Come on.
Sorry.
No. No, so I mean, that really honestly is I agree, Big Sissy. Can I call you Big Sissy? I am a Kevin fan, and if he's not in final 2, I will be upset. But right now I'm kind of like I'm not gonna lie, Big Sissy Banana. Can I call you Big Sissy? I don't feel like I'm not feeling super positive about it, and it hurts me to say it. Big Sissy Banana, can I call you Big Sissy? You missed earlier when I did the retelling of the Finding Raven story, and I know you like that one. But I mean, ultimately, I wish I could see somehow Betty and Kevin in the final two. Somehow.
Can you imagine?
That would just. I know, Big Sissy Banana. Can I call you Big Sissy? He did not play great this week. He really mucked things up this week. And I'm like, Kevin, can somebody get him a bowl of spaghetti so he can gather his thoughts? Because he's just not. I'm hoping that whenever we, see either an episode or we see the feeds back or something, that maybe we can get some information that maybe Kevin got it together and pitched something. But, it is what it is. He's a great player. I have enjoyed him. And I cannot believe that on Thursday we're going to know.
It'll be over.
Unbelievable.
And if Josh is there, I'm going to be so annoyed because he's not that good of a player, and people have been giving him too much credit since the beginning of the game, including the house guests. And that's the most annoying part of all of it.
Who do you think's running the game? Who do you think's going to win? They're like, Josh. What? Shut up.
Why?
So,
all of you are really bad at this game.
So because this pair can still happen, technically, because we don't know if the veto's been used yet.
Right.
Helena and Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin wins.
Oh, Kevin wins.
Oh, for sure.
Kevin, hands down.
So then this last one,
he should.
which is very interesting because I'm iffy on because I think that Kevin might win still, but Betty and Kevin.
I think Kevin.
Kevin, I think, but that is a very close one.
But yeah, those are all the possibilities.
You're so good having all of that written out.
I just put, what I did was like, okay, no matter what, Josh is going to be I paired up everyone with Josh and then went down the list. But yeah. I just want to know. I'm surprised they haven't said anything yet about
Hamza. Who
are
you?
Oh, are they?
Anything.
So we're not getting the feedback at all. Natalie said we're not getting the feedback at all until they show us episodes. I was afraid of that.
Yeah, they said that they're done for the season.
Well, screw y'all.
I agree.
I just want to know. I want to know. I don't know. You guys, I am tired.
Yeah.
It has been a long, however many days since I've seen you. I've been all over the world. Really, in Epcot. I went to a bunch of different countries in Epcot. I did the World Showcase. I haven't told y'all this. On my way to Orlando, right outside of Jackson, Mississippi, I was in this little tiny town, again, on a desolate highway. This one was paved. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm just like cruising along. There's like 2 lanes here, and then a wide median, and then the 2 lanes on the other side that are going in the opposite direction, right? So I'm in the right-hand lane of this little tiny podunk town outside of Jackson, Mississippi at 1:30 in the morning. Just minding my own business. And I'm driving like this. That's not how I drive. It was really more like this. But anyway, I see movement out of the corner of my eye, and I look over, and I had just enough time to have this thought process in this order. Holy shit, that's a deer, and it's about to jump out in front of my car. Nope, that is not a deer. That is a full-grown horse. Okay? That is the thought process. It steps out onto the highway. I look over, and that is real quick right through my head, and here it comes. About the time that I get that through my brain, the one lone car that is also on the highway with me that's back here in the left-hand lane, it bam right into that horse. And I'm like, "Ah!" And I swerve over really quickly so that horse bits and car parts did not hit me, and pull off onto the shoulder. And I come to a stop. Like, I mean, I'm like in the dirt, like shoulder of the road. And it is pitch black out there because it's a little tiny town. There's nothing. And I sit there for a second, and I said, both of my kids are awake. And I said, those people just hit a horse. And Gunnar said, a horse? I said, those are the words that I said. Yes, a horse. They hit a horse. A full-grown horse. Like, is a horse. Like, nay, it was a horse. It came out, and he's like, are they okay? And I'm thinking in my head, probably not, because I do happen to know one other person in my life who has hit a horse, and they died. The horse and the person, they died, right? And so I'm like, my God, I've got to do, like, it is up to me to save these folks in the middle of the night. And so I'm like, gosh. So I put it in reverse, and I start backing up very slowly, because there is not a dang person on my side of the highway or the other side other than me, the people that hit the horse, and the horse. That is it. And it's so dark. And I'm looking in my side mirror, and all I can see is like one headlight on that car that's still working. And I'm like, my gosh, this is not going to be good. And so I didn't realize it, but the guy who was driving that car, he got out of his car. He got out of the car, and he came around on the passenger side of my car. I almost ran over that man. It wasn't bad enough. He just hit a horse. Then I'm going to run over him on the shoulder of the road. And so I slam on the brakes, and I hear him because my window's down. He's like, whoa. And I slam on the brakes, and Gunnar opens the door, and he's like, were you in that car? And the guy goes, yeah. And Gunnar's like, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. And I'm thinking, you ain't okay. You're probably dead. You are a ghost right now. There is no way that there is no way. Like, But he was alive. And then he said, that horse is chasing me. And I said, the horse, is it dead? He said, no. And I said, what? We're going 70. You hit that horse? What did it fly? Did it levitate? What in the world? And so I said, have you called? I know. I said, sir, have you called anybody yet? And he said, no. And I said, what are you waiting? Did you lose your phone in the crash? Like, what in the world? He said, and about that time, I said, there is no way that horse lived through that. And then about that time, Gunnar goes, I hear it coming. We can't see it, but I hear it coming. And sure enough, I got real quiet, and I hear clip, clop. And I'm like, my God, there is an angry horse out here. And that man starts running from that horse, and he is running around the outside of my car in a circle.
Why did he just get in?
Well, he could. First of all, I don't know him. He is not getting in my car. I'm telling Gunnar, get in the damn car and shut the door. Not letting that man in my car. But second of all, there honestly was nowhere for him to get unless he gonna get in my lap, because I was packed to the brim. I mean, like Leighton is literally wedged into the back seat. There is nowhere for any. I couldn't have fit a piece of paper in that car. And so, in fact, we go to the drive-thru. I'm like, can you just hand it over? I'm just going to bite it through the window because I can't put that in the car. There's too much stuff in here. And so, anyway, I tell this man, he's circling around, and this horse, clip, clop, here it comes. I see it just right by my car. And I'm like, oh, my God. And it runs down to this house, and it goes down the driveway like, well, honey, I'm home, like he lived there or something. He goes down the driveway, and I'm like, thank God. I said, I'm going to call the 911 people now. I'm going to call those folks. I said, sir, you stand right here next to my car. And he's like, okay. And so I called 911, and then I had to tell them that a man has hit a horse. She said, a horse? And I'm like, am I not saying this correctly? Yes. This man has hit a horse. He was in a vehicle, and he ran into a horse on the highway right next to me. That is what has occurred, ma'am. 911, Miss 911. And she said, okay. And I'm like, I just don't think I'm saying this right, because people are like, a horse? Yes, a horse. And so, not a whore. That would have been more explainable. It was a horse.
A man has just hit a horse. the road.
You don't know. She could have been on the corner, but this was a horse. And then I said, and it's still alive and it's angry and it's chasing this man in circles around my car. And she said, excuse me? I said, you heard what I said. And so I turned to the man and I said, listen, fella, I'm going to back up a whole bunch more because I feel like that horse lives at that house and he's real pissed because you ran into him. And so I'm going to back up and you just come on right with me. And so I start backing up even further towards the accident. And as I get closer, and I've done told this lady that this man has hit a horse and that the horse isn't dead and the man isn't dead. Right? I get closer to this accident and finally it comes into vision through my backup lights, the wreckage. And I said, sir, that horse is it a ghost? Are you a ghost? Is the horse a ghost? Because there's a horse in the road still. He said, oh, there's two horses. Well, that would have been nice to know when I called 911 lady. Okay. Because see, what has happened is you have killed its friend. Actually, okay, back up. No, you didn't kill the friend. That horse is not all the way dead, y'all. It was not all the way dead. It was not all the way dead, but it was lying there. And for a brief second, this one piece of something in the road I thought was a piece of horse. It wasn't. It was a piece of the man's car. But because I said, my God, is that the horse's leg? He said, that's a piece of my car. And I was like, I am not stupid. I promise. But it is dark and I cannot see. And so anyway, so then I have to go back and tell Miss 911, okay, scratch the whole horse is alive thing. It is alive, but there's two of them. And this other horse, the BFF, is really pissed off. And he's running around out here. And I need somebody to, I'm the only person out here. I'm like, sir, is there anybody else in your car? Perhaps someone who may have died? Because this is pretty catastrophic. This horse is out. I'm like, what do I do? I asked the 911 people, like, should I shoot it? I don't have a gun, but should I? That's what they do in the movies. I don't know. Can you fix that? I don't know. Like, I need an equestrian veterinarian here, stat, and some police, please. In the middle, she said, where are you? I said, I don't know. I didn't know. I said, I don't know. I'm on a very dark and desolate highway somewhere outside of Jackson, Mississippi. I said, can you not track me? Like, am I hidden? Anyway, I asked the man. He said, well, I'm 4 minutes from home. I said, well, that doesn't help. I'm going to need an address. Run up there to those statues of the two white puppies that line that people's driveway and tell me what that street number says. Because I don't know where I am. My gosh. Anyway, and then they sent the local yokel sheriff or whatever out to me, Barney Fife Jr. He came. And I can guarantee you this was his first time that he had ever seen somebody in a car that hit a horse, because he didn't know what was up. And so I said, Shy Boy said we should just have daily stories with Roxy. You should. I have so many. And so anyway, I said, Mr. Officer, I didn't say it like that. I said it for real. I said, sir, do I need to stay here any longer? Because I just got to tell you, I wasn't even if I just saw it. He said, oh, you saw it happen? Yeah, I did. It was right next to me. I said, that's a horse. And then bam, just like that. And he said, that's exactly how it happened too. And he said, I don't think you need to stay. And I said, you don't need me to like write a witness statement or something? He went like this local lawman. He said, well, I think it's self-explanatory. The man hit a horse. And I was like, okay. Are you sure? Like, maybe his insurance might need me. Something. Like, can you get the copy of this 911 call where I explain everything to her? Because that man's car cannot be driven away from here. And he said I could go. And so what was so funny was because he said, well, the highway patrol will be here soon. And I thought, well, thank God somebody's coming. Is somebody going to do something about this horse that's half dead on the road? It's suffering. And I was so upset and I was crying and I hated it. I hated that. I want somebody to help the horse. The man he's ambulatory. Like he's walking around like, yep, hit a horse. He called, he did know where his phone was, by the way, because after I called the 911 people, he went to the wreckage and got his phone out and started calling people to tell him he had hit a horse. He was like, I'm going to be late. I hit a horse. I said, it's 1:30 in the morning. Where were you going, sir? And he said, where were you going? I said, to the hotel. I was going to get a hotel in Jackson. And so anyway, after I left, I said, well, I reckon we're going to go find a hotel room now. And Leighton goes, well, I can't sleep now.
Yeah.
I said, well, me either. But if I can, it's already almost 3 a.m. We still have like 10 more hours to Orlando. I got to take a little nap. My gosh, these are the things. Huh?
This is recent.
Yes, this happened like last week.
Oh.
It sure did.
This is why Roxy missed the triple eviction.
Yes. I worried about that poor man for days. I wanted to look. I mean, I know all of his information, right down to everything that he drives, the year, make, model, his first, last, middle name, everything. I know all his relatives because I'm trying to like ask him these questions for the 911 people. So I could look him up, but I have been worried about him. Like, I feel like he might have been in shock, but he was scared of that horse that was me too. And I was inside the car and he reached out and put his hand on the door handle like he's going to get in. And I said, if you open that door, do you know all of the things that are going to fall out of this car? I have like Jenga packed all of this stuff in here. And if you remove one thing, the whole tower's falling down. So no, you can't do that. You can't get in. The gunner said, well, I should have let him in. I said, well, we don't know him. And I had been listening to a true crime podcast because, as I've told you before, I am the target audience. And so I was already in that mindset of, I'm going to be murdered at any point in time. I'm always in that mindset. I'm just telling you. My gosh. I always think I'm about to be murdered by somebody. I'm like, you look mighty suspicious. I don't think I trust you, sir. No, he was very nice and I felt so bad and I felt horrible for the horse. And so, yeah, day 1 of my trip to Orlando, that happened. Day 1. Day 1, y'all. Stick around.
That's
I got
one way
stories.
to start your trip.
Yeah.
Leighton said, well, I can't sleep now.
Queen.
It was so funny. So funny. The situation was not funny. I worried about him. Like, I want to call his mama and be like, is your son okay?
Was he young? How old was he?
Well, look, I'll be honest. I'm not real sure. He could have been anywhere from 20 to 102. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I think he was probably in his 30s, maybe. I don't know. He's young enough. He had somewhere he's going at 1:30 in the morning. He said, yeah, I'm going to be late. I said, and he wasn't just coming from work. He's wearing sweatpants. He'd been lounging wherever he was. So I said, and where are you going? And what are you doing out at this hour? I know what I'm doing out at this hour. Watching folks run into full-grown horses. I said, oh my gosh, a deer. Nope, that is a horse. And then bam. I said, those people just hit a horse. And Gunnar said, a horse? Yes. You heard what I said. I said a horse. They hit it. They hit that horse.
Thank God you didn't hit it on the way down to Orlando.
My gosh. I mean, for real, because usually I would be driving in that lane because I've been trying to get past all these folks that are driving too slowly. But, there wasn't anybody else on the street. Although there were 3 people who passed us after the accident occurred and not one single person. Y'all see there's a horse in the middle of the road, don't you? They just like slow down to a crawl and weave right around us, right around the horse and everything, and just keep going. And nobody, Well, your windows don't work. You can't go, hey, y'all okay? Nothing. This is the South. Y'all are supposed to be friendlier than that.
Well, I know here, which is also kind of the South, someone like rear-ended somebody else, and the lady like got out to like look at the damage on her car or whatever, and the person that was like in front like backed over her on purpose.
On purpose.
So people like legitimately here don't get out for that sort of reason. Like you're putting yourself at more of like a danger.
Well, that's why I didn't want that man to get in my car.
Yes.
I understood he was afraid of the horse, but here I am, just little old me with my 2 children in the middle of the night.
You don't have your gun on you to kill this horse.
No, I'm like, what should I do? I asked 911 people, what should I do? This horse is not dead. Like, I could do anything at all. Like, should I give it mouth to snout? I don't know. Like, can you fix it? I didn't know. I was so upset. It was absolutely horrible. What a way to start your trip. So that happened. Anywho, y'all were busy having all the fun with the triple eviction, and I was busy going, can we get somebody who knows about horses down here immediately? And then the Barney Fife local police officer, he was so nice and so funny, actually. Like, I say Barney Fife, but he really was so funny and so nice. He goes, yeah, we're going to have to figure out where these horses live. I said, well, they live right there because that's where he keeps going, is down that driveway. Like, he owns the place. Like, that's his home. And he said, well, we're going to have to go down there when the highway patrol gets here and wake them up, and they're going to be issued a citation. And I was like, but they didn't let them out on purpose. Those horses snuck out like a couple of wild teenagers. And he said, well, somebody's got to be responsible for it. And I said, well, I guess so. But what if that horse belongs to like some little 4-year-old kid that said, Daddy, can I have a pony for Christmas? And y'all going to wake them up and say, I'm sorry, but your horse is dead on the highway? That hurt my heart too. That's all I could think about. Like, I just thought about all of those things all night. And once I got to the hotel and I was trying to get a room for the night, that girl probably thought I was like intoxicated or something, because she kept asking me, like your standard questions, like, I don't know how many beds or whatever. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, what? And finally I just said, I'm so sorry. I just saw somebody run over a horse on the highway, and I'm just a little bit kind of like, woo, right now.
In shock.
Yeah, I don't think really helped my case much, but she said, ran over a horse on the highway. Should we call the police? And I said, no, I've already done that. Like, this is like back a little bit of ways. And she said, well, it'll be on the news tomorrow, because I said, well, it didn't happen in this town. It was like that town back right before Jackson. And she said, it doesn't matter. If it happened in Mississippi, it's going to be on the news. And I said, oh, okay. Well, in the morning time when the news comes on, can you ring my room and let me know if that guy is okay and what happened to that horse and anybody they interview? Because I'm so nervous about it. It was horrible.
That's a way to end the.
Yes, let's end it, and we'll be back here on Friday to discuss everything. I totally forget sometimes. Forget.
I thought that was hilarious. Just the perfect way of ending it, huh?
I'm just like eating my ice cream, listening to Roxy like talk about the dead horse.
Next time I'll tell y'all about the time I fell down the stairs at the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert. It's a good story. Tune in next week.
That'll be Friday's episode.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, it's a story worth hearing. Okay, take us out.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll be back here on Friday. You can follow me on Twitter at the Nick City. Follow Roxy at Roxy_Hotman. Zach is at the Zach Perez, and Casey is at Casey232. And yeah, I actually might be going on Twitch after this. So if you guys still want to chat, you can come find me on Twitch, on which I will link on my Twitter. So yeah, that is it, everybody. And we will see you all on Friday for the finale. Bye.